name's Major Good. I'm the Behavioral Health Consultant for the 6th Recruiting Brigade, and I'm going to make a series of about 3 videos focused on emotion coping and emotion regulation. Now, important fact number 3, okay? The purpose of an emotion is survival, okay? So how does an emotion help us survive? Well, an emotion is a survival strategy that prepares our minds and bodies to act in ways meant to help us to survive. So think of it this way. You see the bear coming. If you had to sit there and consciously go through, well, what's the most likely outcome here? What are my thoughts and values about being eaten by a bear? What are the survival strategies that I'm going to use to get out of this situation? Now, but you would most likely be very dead before you made it through all that. But an emotion takes in everything that's going on around you in the environment, runs it through your thoughts and values and expectations, and in about 200 to 300 milliseconds gives you a summary. In this case, that summary would be called fear, and a behavior suggestion on how to most effectively respond, which is run, run, you idiot, kill, 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 you're going to die. All right? So, the emotion speeds up your response and allows you to do things much more rapidly, and that extra time in response helps you survive. Okay? And those behavior suggestions also push us to do things that help us survive in many different contexts and in many different ways. Okay? So, it's important to know that there's only about 6 to 8 biologically hardwired emotions that help us survive. And they change in name by which researcher you talk to, but most researchers agree on this list that I'm going to show you here. All the other emotions that people talk about are culturally based emotions, and they're different in different places of the world. But these emotions that I'm going to put on a list here shortly are survival strategies, and they occur in response to specific things that happen in our environment. So each also comes with a behavior suggestion that we call an action tendency. So when we feel this emotion, we have an urge, depending on the strength of the emotion. The stronger the emotion, the stronger the urge to act in a specific way. Now, for time's sake, I'm not going to go through all of these. I'm just going to put up a table. Feel free to pause the video right now, look at the table, get a feel for what these emotions are and the urges and action tendencies that go along with them. All right, so go ahead. All right, if you look at this table, you can see the first column is the emotion. Those are our biologically hardwired emotions. The second column is the situations in our environment that bring up those emotions. And the final column is what are the action tendencies or the behaviors that that emotion really pushes. All right, so let's take an example here. Let's look at anger first, our second one on the list. What are the things that bring up anger? Well, threats or fairness violations. And what does anger tell us to do? Well, it tells us to attack, assert, intimidate, destroy, drive away. So if something in our environment is threatening us, trying to take our stuff, or violating our rights, or the things that we think we should be entitled to, then that's the behavior that is pushed. And that's a really great survival strategy. If another group is coming to take your food, or to take your territory, a great way to survive that is to attack them back, try and intimidate them so they back down or drive them away. Okay? Another one, sadness. Sadness is one that comes up a lot. Sadness is the result of loss. All right? We lose something important to us. And what does sadness tell us to do? It tells us to do nothing, be alone, and focus on our problems. All right? And that's a great survival strategy. If we've lost food, or if we've lost shelter, or we've been separated from the people who are helping us survive, then what do? Well, we conserve our energy, we eliminate distractions, and we focus on what's wrong until we can fix it. That's a great survival strategy. Not super effective sometimes nowadays because some of those problems are not so easily fixed. But as a survival mode, it works really well. Again, another one, fear. The fear is one that comes up a ton in the military that we talk about a lot. What causes fear? Current danger to our self-preservation goals. Something is either going to kill us or significantly interfere with our ability to survive, and it's something that anger is probably not going to work on. Right? So what does that emotion tell us to do? Kill it or run away, right? Because that's probably the best way to survive a bear attacking us. Either kill the bear first or get away from it. Now, a third one that we often ignore and that we don't like to talk about so much in the military is the freeze response. But the freeze response is actually a pretty helpful response. It locks us in place so that our motion doesn't attract the predator. And also, it allows us to assess the situation better and see what's the best way to respond. And so, again, take a look at this graph, take a little more time with it, look at some of the other emotions and what brings them on and what behaviors they push, and then we'll move on.